Revenue Forum is a non-profit initiative started by me in 2008. Currently, we organize webinars. We hold these on Thursdays on a regular basis, around every other month. Half-day seminars in 12 cities in 10 countries. The coming seminars will be held in Vilnius, Riga and Tallinn on the 16th to the 18th of April. I will give some more information about that at the end of this webinar. We also organize whole days events. This is a unique event held simultaneously online as well as physically in Stockholm, London, Milan, Lisbon and other cities. The last event was held on the 30th of January this year. You will be able to see all recordings of this day, and I will tell you how to get access to that at the end of this webinar. The topic of this episode is, will artificial intelligence change the hotel industry completely? And as usual, we have invited an expert panel to show their insights. Now, let's introduce our speakers of today. Our expert panel consists of 4 speakers who will each get 7 minutes to talk. We use a Pachacucha format, which means that each speaker has prepared 20 slides, which will change automatically after 20 seconds. Now, being the organizer, let me start with introducing myself. My name is Annemarie Gubanski. Apart from being the organizer of Revenue Forums, I am founder and CEO of Tacticon Consultancy and our soft brand Tacticon Hotels. Now over to our next speakers.
So thank you so much for having me today. My name is Simone. I've been in the industry for 25 years now. The first part of my career I spent in hotels. I was a GM for a small group of boutique hotels in Rome, Italy, and then I moved to consulting and into academic work. And my passion has always been what is hospitality and how much technology we can put on top of hospitality and still be hospitality. So I published a few books on the topic, especially the convergence between artificial intelligence and human workers in our industry. So this is very much something I talk about and I'm passionate about.
Hello, I'm Stephan from Brandnamic, and I'm doing the business development at Brandnamic. We are a company doing marketing, consulting, and software, helping hospitality to create the best experience and be visible to everybody out there in the world.
Hi guys, my name is Tomasz. I'm a sales director at BEONx. BEONx is a technology company from Spain that has developed AI-powered revenue management system. And today I'll be talking to you about artificial intelligence in revenue management.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here today. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Asksuite. Since 2018, we've been working on developing AI to improve communication between hotels and travelers while increasing direct revenue. Today, we work with more than 3,500 properties in over 70 countries and have reached the milestone of 1 billion messages exchanged with travelers. So we have a lot of data to share about AI and conversational revenue today. I hope you enjoy the conversation.
So thank you so much. My name is Simone. I've been in the industry for 25 years. First part of my career in hotels and the second part in consulting. And I've been very passionate about artificial intelligence and technology in general and the impact that it does have in our industry that is very human-centric. So let's go. So first thing first, I think that when we talk about artificial intelligence, we make 2 mistakes, linguistic mistakes. The first one is that when we talk about something that's artificial, it always have a negative connotation, right? And on top of that, we don't really know what intelligence is. It's something that we've been discussing for years now. And this is why a lot of the conversation about AI is getting out of the technology part and more into almost the philosophy part or the semantic part, with people asking, myself included, if AI will ever reach some level of consciousness and what could happen with that. And you heard all about artificial narrow intelligence. I'm pretty sure you heard about artificial general intelligence or super intelligence, but I always say that if we want to do it right, we need to create some artificial compassionate intelligence, what I call ACI. That's the acronym I use, right? And this is because, especially with general intelligence, we could be in a situation where artificial intelligence could become so much smarter than us in such a short time that it can create problems for not only work, but for the humanity as well, right? And this is not only me saying it, but people way smarter than me, like Stephen Hawking or Elon Musk and so forth. And general intelligence has always been something that we only thought was possible in science fiction books. But now we got so many people working on that, from QStar, OpenAI, from Meta working on an artificial intelligence model. And then we got even Amazon working on that, right? So it could become reality way before than we think. And this will have an impact. And the first impact, of course, will be by cutting the jobs, right? This, what you see on the screen right now is the risk of automation per each different sector. And of course, hospitality is one of those. So we need to start thinking about that. Anyway, when we talk about artificial intelligence, now we mainly talk about artificial generative intelligence, Gen AI, and this is mainly because of the rise of companies such as OpenAI and of course ChatGPTs. And generative intelligence is basically pretty simple. You give an input and it gives you an output based on a lot of data, right? And this system will always go and gets better and better. What you're seeing right now is exactly the same prompt, just a couple of years of distance, and you see that the output is amazingly better than it was 2 years ago without changing a comma in the prompt. And we're always getting into the Black Mirror-ish kind of reign with companies like, this is a study made by Osaka University that can create images starting by thoughts. So basically the images you're seeing on my screen are thought by people. They're not writing anything. And this is something we're seeing with Neuralink and brain computer interfaces and so forth, right? Now, if we go back to travel, pretty much every single company out there is implementing some level of artificial intelligence in the specifically ChatGPT or OpenAI APIs. And you can see on my screen like Booking.com and OpenTable, MyTrip, TripAdvisor, they're all trying to get some level of AI, especially when it comes to assistance. And this is what I call post-search. We're not researching anything anymore, but contents are coming to us. And this is possible thanks to artificial intelligence, thanks to Gen AI. So this is something that we will see in the next few years, and it completely changed the paradigm of...
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Simone e mi occupo di marketing e tecnologia. Salut à tous, je suis Simone, spécialisé en marketing et technologie. Hej allihopa, jag heter Simone och jobbar med marknadsföring och teknik. Jag är med Simone och håller med om marketing och teknologi. Minasan konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa Simone desu. Watashi wa marketing to technology.
So I don't really talk I don't speak all these languages, right? This is just a level of artificial intelligence that I use. This is something that can also change the logistics of how we work. In the future, we could be less prone to hire people that know a lot of languages because this can be solved by artificial intelligence. We can create an industry that's more inclusive and we can understand all the nuances and so forth. And another cool thing about artificial intelligence is basically the fact that we can automatize a lot of the logistic things that we do in hotels. One for all is replying to reviews. We know it's a struggle, it takes a long time. This is a startup of mine and basically use GPTs and advanced prompting to reply to reviews 24/7 without you doing anything and just skipping the tone of voice and the brand. And this can be used for anything. Customer service 24/7. We don't pay. We don't have to send artificial intelligence in holiday just yet. We don't have to pay them. So it's basically can really change the paradigm. And what we're seeing on top of that is we're also changing our perspective in marketing, because with more and more AI, we're getting into a level of what I call AI marketing, right? This is a perfect example. This is called NPC marketing. They are basically influencer just trying to act like they are actually artificial intelligence. So a few tips just to close it up. First of all, artificial intelligence will not replace you for now, but the person using artificial intelligence totally will. So you need to integrate AI into your processes if you want to be sure that you still have a job in a couple of years. The second thing is technology evolution is never linear. This is something that Ray Kurzweil said over and over again, and I totally agree, is exponential. So we don't know exactly what is coming, and these technologies are getting better and better by the minute right now, right? So just be ready to adapt very fast. And the fact that we see the future as a utopia or as a dystopia is really up to us, right? This could be a total nightmare, or this could be something that will save us from a lot of stress, a lot of logistic problems, for a lot of issues within departments. So it's really up to us to do it. Now, if you're interested in this topic, I talk about it pretty much. It's pretty much all that I talk about. I have a new book. Now it's on pre-order. It will be out in, I think it's the 30th of April, if I remember correctly. That is called We Are the Glitch. And I basically talk about all the possible implications of AI, Web3, and Metaverse in our industry. So thank you so much for your time. I love this kind of approach with the 20-second slide. Always challenging, but I think you need to keep it short and simple. If you want to get in touch, these are my contacts. And of course, you can follow me on LinkedIn or Reddit or wherever you can follow people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simone. We will make sure that we send out the link to everybody that has been registered and has been also participated. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Stephan Kohl. I'm doing the business development at Brandnamic. We are a marketing agency and consulting, and as well as a software provider coming from the north of Italy. We are helping hotels to be the best way visible out there in the technology world. As a hotelier, you get a lot of opportunities, but you have to have the right tools. This is stuff what we are really focusing on, and people who are looking into something visual are really focused also on the perspective, how you can see things. This is what I'm going to talk today about. So the change of perspective, and let's get started. So sugar pumped 6-year-olds. This is maybe the best description of what AI is currently out there. This is someone, it's a small human being kind of permanently awake and helping people to understand, helping people to calculate, but somehow it has a little bit of a lack of consciousness. It's learning, it's slowly learning, but what do we have actually already in hospitality out there? We have revenue management, we have data analytics, we have enhanced security, we have feedback analytics. All those things are already run by AI. But there is more actually, which is already being done out there with AI support. We have predictive maintenance, recommendation systems. Some of you are already using some of those solutions out there, helping your guests finding the best experience. But there's other stuff like language translations. I mean, you all have all those news for your guests you want to share. But then there is voice active rooms. So stuff where some AI is already listening. Effective operations, personalized guest experience, chatbots and virtual assistants, all stuff which is very, very present. You have this efficient operation stuff where your staff members gets the timetable, the shift table perfectly fitted to the needs of available team members. A couple of more things are already there. Robotics, well, cleaning robots are there. We have already robots cleaning our dishes. We have customized marketing also, so stuff which is automated creating newsletters, for example. But something is already starting to be spooky, and this is of course something visual. Facial recognition, some of you have it. Is this the point of no return? Is this now the point where we actually have to decide, is this something what we want? Someone who's already watching us, recognizing, for example, the security cam in our lobby? All this really is depending on how we accept this technology. 4 of those things we actually have already in place from AI. So the 4 or 5 basics, that means there's machine learning who's calculating. We have natural language processing who's helping translating, computer vision, but also optimization and of course automation. The big question is now, and this is the point where we have to discuss, and which is really a big point out there, ethical considerations. How far are we allowing AI or all these algorithms to interfere with us and supporting us, or also maybe going into our business? Let's see. So we can enhance, of course, the guest experience very great with this. well, who wouldn't like to have something, well, getting the towels delivered to the room without you have ever asked for it, creating a room service experience 2.0. Running a restaurant and hospitality is something, food waste, one of the biggest cost points what we have in hospitality, but food waste is something where we could use AI, for example, telling us, dear chef, this menu is not fitting to your food waste. You have to take some of the times of the food out. So there's going to be a shift, and this is a clear prediction of what we can see here, and this is maybe already starting a shift in workforce. There is people who really have to change their way of working. Revenue managers, a big topic, they are currently starting to use AI a lot, but the way they use it is not their regular way. A little bit of technology integration, and this is something where we have really, it starts to be the physical boundaries in between digital, physical, the touch point. What if the robot, which is already delivering room service to the room, knows more about the person who is getting the delivery? Next level, and this is maybe something where we have already heard quite a lot about, is AI concept hotels. Imagine there is all the concept stuff, and this is something already in the making. We're not talking about some predictable stuff. It's something which is already there. People starting to get help. And this is now where we change the perspective. Remember, this was the good old times. It was us looking through the glasses. It was us deciding what we see. It was kind of human. Just grab this thought in your mind right now and saying, okay, it was me. But then it turned, like everyone knows this, like 10 years ago, we had this moment where we got all these photos from these events where you see only smartphones. Everybody had smartphones, and we were looking through the lenses. It was not anymore just the goggles we were looking through. It was actually us looking through an AI. Because how do you think these images have been created? This is now something IKEA has it even already in their app. We're starting to using AI looking with us together through the lens. So creating a virtual reality, augmented reality is the big keyword here. Something which the human behind is really deciding. But what if, and this is maybe the big change of side, and this is maybe the point of no return. What if the machine actually takes over the lens? What if the machine who is looking already through our security footage is recognizing our returning guests in the lobby, starting to suggest to these guests right in that moment on their email, push notification on the phone, this is the right place to go. You should make tomorrow a big exploring the city center. Why? Because there's a new museum been opening. And before the guest even goes to the desk, someone from housekeeping goes up and is delivering the right moment to that guest, because that guest posts on social media, it's my birthday today, I'm on a business trip alone. I have to go to my room up there, but happy birthday to me. What if we as a hotelier would know that already? So all this to say, there's a lot of scareness somehow, and there's a lot of uncertainty, definitely unethical consideration stuff where we really have to think, how far do we allow it to go? But if we do it the right way, AI will complement. AI will be a really, really big complement to hospitality, and this is for us. And we are place number 2 in all these places where you can put AI as a helping hand. If you want to know how this can complement actually more in marketing, we on Brandnamic, we are right on it, right on spot. And this is stuff what we are doing really day to day, working on newest technology and making it available for our customers. You can feel free to contact me, write me an email, connect on LinkedIn. Really looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stephan. Really interesting. Really enjoyed it. So next speaker is Tomasz Leszczynski. Thomas,
yes.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you very much. So my name is Tomasz Leszczynski. I am a sales director at BEONx. BEONx, we are a technology company from Spain. We support international customers around the world. Our expertise is in revenue management, and we have developed a cutting-edge full-stack revenue management system that is actually powered by latest machine learning and deep learning algorithms. Hence why we're going to talk to you a little bit about current state of artificial intelligence adaptation in revenue management in hospitality industry. A bit about myself. Previously, more than 20 years, I've worked in hospitality industry, in hotels for more than 15, 17 years, out of which majority of my time was in revenue management and commercial services. So this is a topic very close to my heart. And yes, I recently joined a BEONx as a sales director, where my revenue knowledge can be scaled in a much faster way. So yes, today we'll discuss some topics related to artificial intelligence and revenue management, and let's go. So today we will focus on three main topics related to AI and revenue management. We will look at how we are already using artificial intelligence, what impact it has, and of course we will discuss what's coming next in that area. However, before we go further, let's address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that currently only about 17% of hotels globally are using any form of revenue management, right? So just under 20% of the hotels are using revenue management systems, and 80% are not. So why is it important? So when we look at how revenue management evolved in the past 10 to 15 years, and we kind of correlate it in the path to artificial general intelligence, we can see that 80% of the hotels at the moment are at the beginning of the journey, where there's a lot of manual work involved and manual analysis, and very few are already adopting the latest machine learning algorithms. If we look at this from perspective of how it looks like in practice, hotels of the past are typically the ones that require quite a lot of workforce and quite a lot of effort in order to manage one, maximum 2-3 properties. The hotels that would adopt a revenue management system of any kind are seeing this swap to be able to manage about 3 to 7 properties with only one person, so very limited resources with very good output. And the very few that are currently using a latest developed machine learning and deep learning powered RMS systems have managed to scale this operation much better. And they see they're actually leading the way in evolving the revenue management as a discipline and managing much bigger complexity and at much bigger scales. If we put this development in perspective, you can see here the amount of effort needed and the output you get whilst using every single step of the algorithmic development. And you can see the further you go in the road, the much more output you get with the minimum impact that you need to put in the system, right? So as the first message I would like to send is that I would like to encourage everybody to join me in helping the industry to move away from manual and effective approach and upgrade the tools. The money is lying there on the table, it's just ready for you to take. But, we've discussed quickly, I showed you where we are and where the industry is. But the good question always is what's happening next and when is it happening, which is always a very important part as well. Well, the good news is that it's happening right now, and we are already developing the next step in that path, right? And what is that step? It's the next logical step in evolution of the algorithm towards artificial general intelligence and its generative AI, which we are working on implementing into our revenue management platform. But how is that gonna impact the industry and whether it's gonna revolutionize it? We believe, yes, it's definitely gonna be a big revolution, something unseen in the past. And how we see it's in two main ways. First of all, we're gonna scale access to the data and usability of the product, where with the ease of asking the system information, like using ChatGPT approach, we will be able to scale revenue management across the entire hotel essentially removing the silos between different departments, the knowledge silos needed to use revenue management, the skill silos needed to use revenue management software, which is going to definitely impact the business in the big picture, right? So first, we're going to be able to scale it. Second big impact, which is also very important, if not more important, is that with all the input that we're going to put into the system, we're going to be able to feed the algorithm with information. With that generative AI being able to put the information in the algorithm, it will make it grow. It will make it grow to the way where essentially it's going to create a bespoke approach for the property that is used at, and that's going to be deliverable at massive scale, right? Where we're going to be able to almost customize approach for every hotel at that parallel scale, making the system work hand in hand with machine, being able to harness already available data to the maximum available capacity, where essentially what we're going to do is we're going to open the gate to an exponential growth, right? We're not talking about going in a linear growth, but actually breaking that ceiling where the growth can be with even more limited input from the person, right? So we're going to be able, in that sense, to develop also revenue managers as a discipline of the revenue management, and also revenue managers from being this kind of input driven and persons, right, that do daily tasks, to much more being these strategists where they will be actually working in harmony with the platform that is powered by machine learning, right? We will likely to see revenue managers being able to drive business in a much wider perspective, much more globally than before, across different revenue sources, right? Looking completely above and beyond the typical RevPAR approach. We believe that we will see them evolve from the answer seekers, right? So the current revenue managers are the person that look for answers, and they will evolve into strategies that will get the most amount of output by asking the right questions. And typically when we talk about AI and revenue management, the question comes up, will AI replace revenue managers? We say no, it will not. But what we would recommend is to make sure that revenue managers can use fully AI and utilize the power of AI to enable them to grow in line with the business and in line with the platform growth as well. Thank you.
So hi, it's a pleasure to be here today again. I really love this topic. You know, AI is now more than a trend, is a reality in our industry, and we definitely have a lot of data, a lot of insights to share about it. And conversational revenue is also something new, because the conversational marketing, conversational commerce is just growing everywhere now with messaging and so on. So it will be nice to share all this info with you today. So hope you enjoy the conversation. Let's go. Great. So Google CEO stated that the world is moving from mobile first to an AI first approach. He sees it as the most profound technology that humanity will ever work with, and I totally agree with him. Here is an example of how exponential is this change. ChatGPT is the technology with the fastest adoption rate throughout humanity. It took only 5 days to reach 1 million users, while Instagram took 75 and Spotify 150 days. According to Accenture, our hospitality sector is the second with the highest possibility to make profit by adopting AI, only followed by education. And more than revenue, we need to bring profitability. Last year, we saw the rise of generative AI becoming more popular with its B2C website, openai.com. In 2024, we will see a lot of hospitality software companies integrating generative AI into their systems for many use cases. Here at Asksuite, we already did this integration. In this example, I simply copy all the information about Milan City from Wikipedia and pasted it here on our panel. Then I asked the AI about Milan population and when Milan was founded, and the AI was read and made the response in its own words in seconds. In addition to AI, over the last years, we've seen the rise of social media messaging, WhatsApp, and so on. So now communication via phone and email are not enough to capitalize all the revenue possibilities. Typically, emails took too much time to be responded. In this review on TripAdvisor, the traveler asked how long does the hotel take to reply to emails? And of course, the 24 hours deadline is definitely too long. The customer expectation is always as soon as possible. It explains why we achieved 1 billion messages exchanged with more than 72 million travelers since 2018. Definitely, there are a lot of opportunities to capitalize on these messaging channels. First of all, more than 45% of total pre-stay interactions are travelers requesting info for price quotes, groups, events, restaurants, and spa reservations. So customer service channels are definitely about revenue generation. On the other hand, a dedicated agent spends 50% of their time answering questions that could be automated, unrelated to sales and reservations. So they ask about everything, right? So what's the weather, what's the check-in time, and that's the possibility here for automation. 48% of those 1 billion messages happened outside business hours. In Europe, for example, hotels receive travelers from all over the world. Asians or Americans in different time zones will probably get in touch after hours. So being available 24/7 is definitely a must. 75% of chats occurred via the hotel's website chat, and WhatsApp today is now being applying to hotels' website as the new way to directly communicate with potential guests. And Google is investing heavily in its messaging channel, which works perfectly with AI chatbots. So in the past, direct bookings and revenue were done with human interaction via phone and email, and the self-service options were on websites, FAQ pages, and booking engines. Today, AI omni-channel conversational marketing, we are merging all service channels into one omni-channel inbox while bringing AI, the human agent, and the booking engine experience directly to all communication channels, including social media and messaging apps. Here is how the booking engine integration looks like to travelers on the website chat, showing the room info, availability, pricing directly in the conversation. It also works via social media and messaging channels. One of my favorite AI capabilities is to automatically recommend nearest available dates when the period requested is full. Also for hotel chains, it can recommend nearby properties available on the same dates. And also it compares direct and OTA pricing in real time, only showing this message when direct pricing is better in a conversational way, not with invasive pop-ups that I personally don't like, but and yeah. So here to fast quotes, all customer service interactions should be focused on revenue generation. You will not be replaced by AI, but by someone who knows how to use it for high performance. This is my personal belief for the upcoming years. We've been winning the Hotel Tech Awards for 5 years in a row as the world's best hosted AI chatbot with more than 600 customer reviews, and we are really proud about it. So if you want to learn more, access our website, my connect on LinkedIn. So thank you very much for your time.
So Simone, I think you might be the right person to ask this to, but then what is the difference between artificial intelligence, deep learnings, like machine learning? Can you explain what is the difference between that?
It's more, again, it's merely, we're talking semantics here, right? So we can say that artificial intelligence basically is like the general ability of computers to emulate human thought, right? Or to a certain extent, even animal thought or plant thought. We always think humans, but that's not really the point. Machine learning is more like the technology and the algorithms that enable these systems to do so. Now, the thing is that I would focus more on, though, is narrow intelligence versus general intelligence. I think this is like a broader topic. It's more interesting even for people that are not developing the system, that are just using or applying the system for business, right? So when we talk about narrow intelligence, and this is pretty much where we are now, and where we've been for the last probably 25 years, is a moment in time where machines are smarter than us, but in very specific tasks. And I always use this example, right? If you're into chess, in 97, the first grandmaster was beat by an artificial intelligence at playing chess, and it was unthinkable up until this moment, to the point that Kasparov thought that this artificial intelligence had some kind of human help. Right now, for us, it's normal. Of course, artificial intelligence is better than us at playing chess. It's better than us at playing Go. That is, way more complicated than chess. But if I would go back in time and I would ask that artificial intelligence, hey, can you tell me a little more about my hotel distribution? That artificial intelligence wouldn't be able to answer the question. That is just because it was created to do something better than us, but only something very specific. That is why we call it narrow intelligence, right? With artificial intelligence, the funny thing is that we're moving faster than we thought to general intelligence. And this is where these systems can actually think in a more deterministic way rather than a probabilistic way. So it's like, we got this baby, and now this baby will learn from experience and what he or she hears, and based on that, it will develop some kind of intelligence, right? So it's a complete different thing. It's not us feeding information to the artificial intelligence. It's more the artificial intelligence getting information and making a sense out of the world. Now, again, for a lot of people, this was just science fiction. I always agreed with Kurzweil when he said that this was not science fiction at all, and we could have been there by 2045 or 2050. Now, the thing that we're seeing now is that we're seeing some very basic level of general intelligence even now, so we could be way closer than we thought. And of course, we need to rethink everything we know about artificial intelligence, because this is like having a complete new species in our planet. It's not like something that we can control. It's something completely out of control. So I think we should probably focus a little less on the semantics of machine learning, deep learning, and focus a little more on we're getting out of narrow intelligence, we're getting into general intelligence, but we're going there at a speed that we didn't know before.
Scary. Okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
Simona, I have a different question to you, and that is like, let me tell you a story. So my brother, he's a professor in computer science, okay, and he's always laughing when I say that, we are talking about artificial intelligence within the hotel industry. He says, well, a lot of my students are being recruited by Booking.com before they even are finished with their studies, because Booking.com wants to do this artificial intelligence thingy. You were also into it during your Pechakucha. But he says they can't get it done because they simply don't have enough data. So if it's even Booking.com in his opinion, lacking data to really go for artificial intelligence? What is it that we're buying?
It's an interesting angle, and I don't necessarily disagree with everything. Now, it really depends. Like Booking.com, they need to use AI to basically predict what you want to buy, maybe filter out what you don't want to buy, and maybe with some level of Gen AI, they can maybe rewrite in real time, like the description of the hotel or changing the order of the photos and so forth, right? So it's pretty much narrow intelligence, nothing like crazy. In this sense, I think they have more than enough data to go on. But again, we're not talking about an artificial intelligence like ChatGPT, for example, that can answer a bunch of different questions, and because it's been trained on billions of data, and we're feeding data to ChatGPT every day, right? I was reading this article the other day that a lot of people are starting talking to ChatGPT, not to get answers, but to feel less alone. And they start developing this kind of relationship with ChatGPT, right? We don't give this information to Booking.com, of course. We don't say, look, I'm lonely today to Booking.com, right? We just say, look, I need to go to, Manchester, and I need a hotel quick, So to do that, I think what they do have is more than enough. But he's right when he says that, I will phrase it differently. The problem is that in travel, and that, you're in revenue, so it's a huge problem. We got data silos in our industry, meaning that data are all around. It's so hard even to get an idea of a guest profile. You got some data on an OTA, some data on a PMS. The PMS is legacy. You cannot get the data out of that. Some of the data are on an RMS. Some other are on the food restaurant part of that. So it's very hard to combine all this data. So I agree with your brother when he says, look, it cannot really create some level of, super accurate prediction, because they only have a very small part of the puzzle, right? But I don't agree when he says that Booking.com doesn't have enough data, because I think for what they're trying to do, they have more than enough data, right? So it depends on where you look at it, right? And of course, the more data you have, the more you can make like accurate predictive results and so forth. But look, if I have to bet on one company in the travel space being able to build something, and again, Booking.com is already implementing ChatGPT on OpenAI, at least in the mobile app in the US for now, is probably Booking.com. Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he is a computer scientist, so I think also he looks at the word artificial intelligence in a completely different way. When we talked prior to the webinar, you said like, yeah, okay, but there is enough data, but we're not collecting it. I think you said something like that, and
yeah,
it's also maybe just like the difficulty in the fact that we are quite protectionistic about our data. So it's like complete different silos, and we just like want to keep things for ourselves, because then we have the contact, for instance, contact with the customer. Is that now working against us?
Of course, big time. Look, big time, big time. Look, 10 years ago, I was working with this startup, and the idea we had was to get anonymous data from all the hotels in a certain destination to have a better sense of what was going on with the pace, with the pickup, with the demand, and so forth, right? And that is, it's always the same problem. You can get this data, but you can get this data maybe the year after, right? So you can look at 2023 and say, look, okay, we made this mistake, and now we can go on 2024. So to me, it doesn't really help you out, right? And to me, it was always more, okay, why we have all this data? Why don't we share all this data and we just make them anonymous so everybody can get the best out of this data? We started to propose this company, and we were giving this company for free, completely for free. Our goal was to get the data, right? Nobody signed up. Like, even if the data was anonymous, they didn't want to share the data. And then you got something like, I'm pretty sure you're more familiar with it than I am, like something very basic like Expedia Rev Plus, for example. You go there and you got all the aggregated data of the destination, right? So they are doing it, but you're so protective of your data that now not only somebody else is using your data, but you cannot do anything with this data, right? So of course, two big problems. Silos, that's a technical problem, you know, mainly PMS problem. And the second one is we are so protective of our data, even when if we would aggregate all this data together, they could really help us understand where the market is going. And on top of that, will also give us like a huge advantage in terms of direct bookings that we never talk about, right? Because let's say we got all this data and all of this data are at the brand.com level and we can access this data. We can action this data in a completely different way. Now, I'm not a revenue manager, you are. So, you know, this is like, it's a dream for revenue managers to get access to all of this data. And now you need to do it with companies like selling you data, but you're never sure that these data are accurate or if they're lying about their data. So yeah, welcome to hospitality.
Thank you for that, Simone.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Stefan, question to you. All this AI, it's really nice. I mean, they might or might not take over a human, but then, I mean, they are taking over some parts of human interaction. So how would I know if it's a human I'm talking to or if it's a robot?
Yeah, this is it's a very tricky one because the boundaries will kind of fade away soon. I mean, it's if you for example start to use some chats on some websites, if you start to even some of the insurances, if you call them, it can happen to you that you find out after a minute or two that you're actually talking to a robot because the copying of the way of writing with people, the copying of talking, so the copy of a voice is really something, and it's I mean, we see it now in marketing that there is stuff. Certainly, there is a lot of content being created from zero, where we needed people like texters, professional creating texts for newsletters, for your brochures on the hotels. From day to night, people say, "Oh, well, I can use ChatGPT for us." This is stuff where we can now, where we really have this tricky position as the consumer perspective. How can I identify really? Is that human made or is that a machine interaction? And this is it's a big question for myself, and this is something which I really hope, and it's already starting to be addressed. Some stuff has to be flag marked. I mean, we see it in social media that there's already countries forbidding to post some fake filters on your skin because human, or especially the teenagers, react different to it. I hope that there will be a kind of flag marking. This has been created with AI help, which doesn't have to be a negative impact, but the human behind it should understand that they are not talking with a human being behind it. Maybe it's a human using a tool. So it's a thin line, and then I hope that there will be something soon being flag marked.
Yeah, I mean, it is a thin line. It goes very fast. I think back in the day, 2 years ago, you could just like notice when you were chatting that this is a robot. This person is not really talking to me.
But now that they even can talk dialects, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, you can have like a known person like Barack Obama saying just like strange things, and it has the voice, it has the looks, and it has everything of Barack Obama, which was like an example for I think a few months ago. And I mean, he's just because he says something that he would never say, you would understand that it's not him. But I think that is a scary point, and I think you might be right. We need to have. But then how do you force somebody to mark that down? No, interesting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah, I think so.
It has to be decided, and we have to frame it somehow. Definitely, yeah.
You're quite right. Thank you. I'm with you. I got a very interesting question from one of the participants for you, Tomasz. And it actually is a question like, okay, it's a small company, small property, asking like, okay, so when are we going to get revenue management systems that are just like price worthy? What would you say about that?
I guess what I would recommend is to look at this a little bit differently, as I believe it currently is looked at. That any systems, including revenue management, are looked more from perspective of added costs rather than the benefits they bring. Right. Just by introducing any revenue management system in a business that doesn't have any, you are almost guaranteed to increase your ADR by between 5 to 20%. And so it's an investment. So looking at this on purely from the price or the cost perspective doesn't really show you the big picture of what revenue management system can do for you. And this is just one layer of the impact of RMS or the good RMS on your business. We can look at this from many different layers and say, okay, with a good RMS, you're gonna be able to optimize your processes. You're gonna be able to streamline your data visualization, your reporting, your commercial analysis, your activation, all the way to optimizing your operating costs, where if you have a accurate forecast for your breakfast, you'll be able to accurately order food, minimizing the wastage, making sure that your staffing is correct, that you can deliver the service that you are promising through your brand without necessary overspending. So the impact of revenue management on the hotel is way beyond just increasing ADR. Right, so it really impacts your profit in a very positive way. So I would start looking at this from this perspective rather than just purely as a cost on the P&L statement.
Yeah, whatever we say, that what doesn't bring you revenue is a cost. So as long as it brings more revenue than the cost of the actual system, it's a very good investment. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I had an added question, and that is regarding what you said. A lot of times people are telling me, I don't know if it's a question or a remark mostly, but then a lot of time people are just like saying, okay, so why do you promote all these revenue management systems? Because they are all going to replace you. And I agree, maybe one time or the other they are going to replace us, but I think that's also at the time where revenue managers are going to be doing much smarter things. But I think we're not there yet. Do you think they will ever replace a human, in your opinion?
I don't think so. And for me, it's a good analogy to airline industry and the planes, right? Modern planes can very comfortably take the passengers all the way from the departure airport to arrival airport without any human interaction. And yet we have two pilots guarding those systems, right, on every single plane. Even though, and this is a statistic, that 80% of all the air traffic accidents were caused by human errors, we still entrust people to control the machine, right? First of all, we are not yet there with development of AI where we can replicate the human qualities, right? Machine cannot generalize. They cannot bring one problem and put it in different scenarios like people do. There's no emotional intelligence in the machine, and also the machine learning will be as good as the data you feed it in, but we know that you cannot feed all the data that you as a person get. And also, I agree with you, Anna-Maria, that it's not going to replace the revenue managers, but it's going to make them, it's going to allow them to unleash their own potential and grow as a strategist, as a business leaders. And I believe that revenue managers will become much more pivotal in the role that they currently are. I think they're really, the position is not given enough quality as it is, because actually you combine so many disciplines, guiding the business in the right direction, where a revenue manager, even though they're not really meant to do that, but they really have to take under consideration different factors from revenue, through costs, operating challenges, and so on and so forth. So I believe giving a lot of those tasks to machine learning and AI will release much more time for revenue manager to become much more strategic and closer to other departments. Again, removing those silos of the past, where we all going to be working together towards one common goal, like a profit, and not just everybody's working in their own areas. So I think it's an evolution. We need to get on board with that. it's a positive thing, and I don't think machine will replace humans in any time in the future, let's say.
No, we might eat up these words maybe once in 10 years, but no, I don't really see it either yet, and I'm not afraid of it. And either way, I mean, you can't stop any change, so let's embrace it and work with it, I say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Rodrigo, if I look at the way chat has evolved, it's like I think 2 years ago when I was on a chat box, I think my standard reply was, please let me talk to a human, because it was really bad. But then today it's actually quite good. It goes very fast. So what do you think about the future there? It's like human interaction towards customers online, and is it going to be replacing us just like completely on that part?
Yeah, great. So actually, AI in customer service, we've been working with AI in customer service since 2017. So it's not so new, and we've been developing the technology since that time. So now with ChatGPT, the technology is just reaching a higher level of automation. And as we are only focused in hospitality, we have a lot of data about what travelers usually ask for. So we know everything they ask, and we can make integrations to make their life easier and to full automate specific questions, so such as booking confirmation, booking quotes, and so on. So that's really important today, and the future is very exciting. It's excited because we really think that today we can automate more than 90% of frequently asked questions. And our vision is that humans should join the conversations only to increase conversion rates, sales and revenue conversion rates, by following up the opportunities that the AI do not convert directly. So that's the future of what we believe in. They don't need to spend their time with questions unrelated with sales or revenue.
Yeah, because you say, what did you say? 45% is revenue related. Can I get a group price, or what does this cost? That's
exactly
more difficult, I think, for a chat to still reply to.
Exactly. So the idea is the AI, we will respond to all questions to ensure a quick response, instant response, 24/7, and then the human just following up the opportunities that the AI do not convert directly. So that's the idea, of course, with automations. And we also deploy a lot of AI and automations to help the humans to improve their sales productivity. You know, it's not only about automating the AI and customer service itself, but also helping humans to be more productive while assisting potential and the guests inside the hotel.
Thank you. That was really interesting. Thank you so much. And that was the end of the webinar. Hope you had an enjoyable hour. Our next webinar will be on the 21st of March. And the topic of that webinar will be the power of personalization. I hope you can join us again. We will send a recording of the webinar as soon as possible. Now, for participants in the Baltics, in April, we turn to Vilnius, Riga, and Tallinn with our Revenue Forum seminars from the 16th to the 18th of April. Our Revenue Forum seminar currently runs in 12 cities and 10 countries for hoteliers who want to spend a half day of inspiration and networking. This is a free of charge seminar to attend. You can find all information about our seminars and webinars on our website, revenueforum.net. Last but not least, on the 30th of January, we held our Global Revenue Forum. This is a unique and hybrid event held simultaneously in Stockholm, London, Milan, as well as online. For those who have not been able to attend, you can watch the recordings from these cities. Register yourself on our website, globalrevenueforum.com, and buy your online tickets. And that was all for today. I hope to meet you on our next webinar or one of our seminars or events we organize. Thank you very much to our speakers, Simone Puorto, Stephan Kohl, Rodrigo Teixeira, Tomasz Leszczynski, for your information. And thank you as well to my colleague Johanna Lien for the handling of the slides and for taking care of the organization of this webinar. And thank you all participants for listening. Thank you and hope to see you next time. Bye.